Greetings in the name of Yahusha Mashiach, Melech of Yasharal, Cohen forever, according to the order of Melchizedek. All esteem, honor, and glory unto our Alua Yahuwah. My name is MELEK Shelomoh. This is MELEK Shelomoh Trading. Today is the 16th of April 2025. It's 9:57 a.m. Eastern Time. And I'm going to do a trade recap I did here on ES Mini Futures. So let me just play the risk disclosure before we start.
All MELEK Shelomoh Trading LLC materials, information, and presentations are for educational purposes only and should not be considered specific investment advice nor recommendations. Risk disclosure. Trading futures, equities, and digital currencies involves substantial risk of loss and is not suitable for all investors. Past performance is not necessarily indicative of future results.
All right, so let's jump into the trade. So we're going to start off with the messy chart. There's a lot of add-ons on here like the buying sweeps. Let me just point these out before we get started so you have a viewpoint of where I'm coming from with this trade. So this is the open. We have the VWAP, right? That's the solid red line. These are dashed red lines here are the upper deviations. Dashed red lines are the lower deviations. The solid yellow line, that's ETH VWAP. That solid green line is the VPOC. That solid blue line right there is the trades counter POC, right? So let's see, what else should I point out here before we start? So we have icebergs. Selling icebergs are in purple. Buying icebergs are in light blue, similar to the bubbles. The blue is the buying, purple is the selling. Let's see what else. And we have these stop sweeps. Selling sweeps, sorry. Those are in red bubbles. The buying sweeps are in those green bubbles right there. And those are the headers for it, right? Let's see what else. I do have absorption on here as well, but I'll point it out. Yeah, so here's the absorption indicator. Those are set to 100 and more. All right, so we opened here. We're below Camarilla S4 and floor pivot S1. Let me just bring that into perspective. Right, so I operate from pivot levels, looking for support and resistance, and I'm also working with the Wyckoff theory to read price action as to where there's distribution and where there's accumulation. So I'm looking for distribution right here below floor pivot S1 and Camarilla S4. So we're opening below that. So those are support levels, so support turn resistance. So let's see here. So we opened, we pushed above, we have buying sweeps immediately. We have selling sweeps coming back down. And we create a Wyckoff structure, but I'll show you that on another chart, right? On my Trader Map Lite chart. So we push up here to first upper deviation, and we create the uptrust. And the uptrust is being created right there on the retest of Camarilla S4. It's also retesting the nightly VPOC. And we create the uptrust. We have absorption. We have heavy liquidity that the buyers ran into. So the offer is absorbing the buyers. We get the pullback. I enter short just above the first upper deviation. Take profit at the VPOC. So in these uptrust levels, right? When we have an uptrust, we're usually gonna pull down and then we're gonna bounce right back. So that's what happened here. We bounced right back to almost the uptrust level. That's a test. When we start breaking down again, I enter the trade here on the breakdown of VWAP and floor pivot S2. So when we retest, it was looking like it was exhausting right here. You see those small bubbles? just below VWAP. Entered here. My stop was here at the VPOC. We retested the VWAP. You see the exhaustion right there, and we pushed down. I entered kind of prematurely, but on the break of this level here, and we ran into the liquidity, I just stopped out, right? I just decided to take my profit and leave. So let's go to the other trader map light chart so I could break down the Wyckoff levels a little more. All right, so you could see liquidity a little better on this chart. So we have the push up. This is creating the preliminary supply right here. That's the preliminary supply at 53.80. We get the pullback, the initial pullback, we push up and we create the buying climax. The buying climax is around 53.83.50. Right, so that's the buying climax. We push down, we create the automatic reaction here. That's the automatic reaction, probably 53.73.75 around there. Then we push up, we take on this liquidity and we create the uptrust. Right, that's the uptrust right there. We pull back, that's my trade. After the uptrust, we break down. I was a little late, I should have entered this a little quicker. So came back down here to this ETH VWAP, took profit right there. Just by this liquidity level, took profit. We got the bounce back because I'm anticipating when we take these trades from the uptrust, it's going to hit a certain level, it's going to base out, and then it's going to bounce right back to create a test. So got to watch out for that. As soon as we hit and we stop at a certain level, especially above VWAP, I'm just stopping out of the trade because I know it's going to come back. So we come back to the nightly VPOC level. We retest that. We push down. We take out some of these buying stops here on the VWAP. We create a LPSY. We have iceberg sellers at the LPSY, lowest point of support, or the test. This is the first test. No, that's the second LPSY. This is a LPSY as well, but it's considered a test of the buyers. The buyers don't have the strength to push forward to this liquidity. We get the LPSY, we start moving down, we break down VWAP, we push up here. I was expecting it to start failing right here because we had a retest of VWAP previously right there. We push down again and we come back to retest, but we retest VWAP twice. So my trade, I entered here on these small bubbles, and let me just open that up a little bit. Right, so this is my time frame here. You could see we had the retest of VWAP, we had the exhaustion. I took the trade right there. We came back and we retest VWAP twice. Right, so after my entry, we got some retest of VWAP again. My stop is above this level here, right? Around the preliminary supply, just under the preliminary supply. And then we push down again. We retest. So now I'm looking at it, I'm being a little cautious here because coming back, putting me underwater a little bit. But I'm seeing the exhaustion. Buying exhaustion, there are small bubbles. The best offer is still exposed. We got the best offer here, but small bubbles. We have sellers taking control. Again, the push up, exhaustion, the best offer, and sellers take control again below my entry, and we push down. When we push down, we came to this liquidity level, and we had a bounce, this big buying bubble right here. I just exited the trade, right? So that was basically, and we did after the sellers took control, we did come back and put me underwater again, right? So I forgot to mention that right here. So we push back up, still exhaustion. It's kind of like a low volume retracement. Sellers took control. We push down into this liquidity, and because we keep pushing back above my entry level, that's another reason why I decided to not go underwater again by having this retrace all the way back. So took profit here after we hit this liquidity, looking like the bid is absorbing, but we only came back here and retested this level, which is the first lower deviation. So basically my trade is it was a LPSY short, VWAP retest short to basically just underneath -1 VWAP. Hit liquidity, bouncing back, stopped out. So maybe I could have held this a little longer. My first take profit was actually just below this liquidity level here, but I was being a little cautious given that this liquidity is here. We have volume coming in and a possible like absorption right here. So that was basically the trade, Black Sun strategy. Basically 2 trades from the uptrust, and then this one here on the breakdown of VWAP at a LPSY, and another entry right there. So let's see what price is currently doing. Let me just bring this back across so we could kind of point out where it is in relation to the Wyckoff levels, right? So we broke down a lot from this automatic reaction. We're basically coming back around here and testing it from, we created a low around 53.46. Let's see, this is looking like an accumulation structure right here. We have the preliminary support. We have a bounce. We have the selling climax here with volume. We're pushing up. We're creating an automatic rally. We're supposed to come back down and test to create a secondary test around this level and maybe start pushing up from there. So preliminary support, pushed up, selling climax, heavy volume, breaking the liquidity, getting absorbed, pushing up to create an automatic rally. We should pull back here, create a test, and then from the test, we could push back up to test these levels here, right? So that will be a small accumulation to retest these LPSYs for a possible next short at that level to come back down. But I hit like about, this is like 120% of my daily goal right now. So according to the Apex rules, I don't want to go too high in one daily profit level, because then you have to have a certain amount. I think it's 30% of this level, right? 30% of this level, I think you have to multiply it by 0.3 and divided by 0.3, and the amount you get from that, you have to have that in the account before you make a withdrawal, and you have to have that above the what is it? I think you have to be above the trailing threshold. So for me, this would be my trailing threshold is 5,000. I have to get above that before I could make a withdrawal, and then plus I think I have to have like 30% of this, right? Don't quote me on this, but I know it's like you have to divide this, which is the highest number so far on profit for the day. You have to divide this by 0.3, and that number is what you have to have above the trailing threshold. Anyway, let me don't bore you with all that Apex stuff. All right, y'all. So you see we're creating this. We're going to create that secondary stop now, back down to the lows. And then if it's a real accumulation, we should start moving out to test these levels here to get like a uptrust action above this automatic rally. So right there, I would be looking for a short. So maybe I should go switch over to an evaluation account and try and catch some of these trades. All right, y'all, it's MELEK Shelemoth, Melek Shelemoth Trading. I hope you all enjoyed the breakdown, the Wyckoff theory. That's how I'm exercising my trades, using pivot levels, the Wyckoff theory, using liquidity and all that stuff to take my trades. All right, y'all. Blessings. Shalom.